angels, it's Haley Reese and welcome to day 4 of our 31 days of Halloween. I'm actually super excited about day 4 because 4 is actually my lucky number, so that's kind of an interesting fact, I guess. I love the number 4 ever since I was younger. So in honor of me loving the number 4, I thought that I would base today's video around a question that I actually get more often than you guys would think. And it's to do with, have I ever had a traumatizing nightmare? Now, when I was a little girl, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare, night after night after night after night. And it was traumatizing, evil, horrible, and so beyond frightening that I thought, why not share it with you guys? Because I personally believe that this is so much more than just a nightmare. But I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. Before I get into today's video though, I just very quickly want to say, if you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Haley. My family on here is the Reese's Pieces, and we believe in the unbelievable. So if you too believe in the unbelievable, or you just want to hear about it, all you gotta do is go ahead, click that subscribe button, and join our family, because I've said it before, and I will say it again, I swear to goodness, my family on here is the best family in the entire YouTube community. So I used to have this reoccurring nightmare up until I moved into my third childhood home. What I mean by my third childhood home is, for those of you who know me, you know that I lived in my grandparents' home for the majority of my childhood. Then when my mom was finally in the position to, we moved out into my second childhood home, and from there we eventually moved into my third home. So it eventually stopped around the time of my third home. Now it's a little bit blurry as to when the nightmare completely stopped, but I specifically remember the last thing that was said to me within this nightmare, and it's traumatizing. So every single night I would have this dream, and this dream occurred in what was like a complex. What I mean by a complex is a row of townhouses, but a big giant complex of them. The strange thing, you guys, is that like this complex to me felt like it was its own world. It didn't feel like anything outside of this complex existed. It felt like it was just straight darkness around it, and that the only thing within the world that I was in my dream was this complex. So every single night when I arrived in this complex, I would walk, and I would walk, and I would walk until I eventually reached the 13th, until I eventually reached number 13. Now I remember it being number 13 because I would always see the big 1-3 as I was walking up to the door. No matter how much I didn't want to go into this complex, into this house, this townhouse, it was like I was compelled to, like I felt forced to go into it. So as I would get into this townhouse, I would get up the stairs and into the bathroom, and every single time, this man would crawl out of the mirror and climb onto the floor. And it was almost as if I was paralyzed. I couldn't even move, and he walks up to me, and he basically starts to negotiate me giving him my light. He starts telling me that he won't hurt me, that he can actually help me, but I must in turn give him my, and I remember word for word, pure light. Now these are really strange words for a kid, and like my mom, when I finally bring her on this channel, will attest to me saying these things. Like I am completely telling you guys the honest truth. Like I know some people think that what I say is unbelievable, but hey, that's the Reese's Pieces. But honestly, like what I tell you guys is the God's honest truth. And so he starts to negotiate with me, and he basically backs me into a corner to the point where I feel like I have no choice but to say yes, but every piece of instinct in me that I have is telling me to say no. Now within this moment, I can genuinely feel that it's a dream. Every time I'm in this dream, I know it's a dream, but I can never get myself out of it. So for majority of the first few years of this dream, every single time he would go to reach for me, I would wake up. I would wake up in such a sweat, you guys, head to toe, dripping in sweat. I would have tears coming from my eyes, my heart would be racing, and I would run into my mom's room. Or my grandma's room, actually, whichever house that I was in when the nightmare was happening, I would run into that room. So I remember one specific night, I'm in my room in my mom's house. That's the second house that I lived in. And I have the same nightmare, and right when he's about to grab me, I wake up again. So I run into my mom's room, and I remember her playing with my hair and telling me, like, sweetie, if you know it's a dream, you gotta tell yourself it's a dream and you gotta wake up, because it is just a dream and you have the power within you and the ability to wake yourself up. So the next night I go to sleep and the whole entire dream happens again. I get up into that bathroom, he climbs out of the mirror, which by the way, I already have a fear of mirrors. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. But this just added to it. And it's almost as if he knew I was afraid of mirrors and he knew that I was seeing the woman in the mirror, so he would come out of the mirror. I don't know. But right when he's negotiating with me again, telling me to give him my purity, to give him my light, I tell him, and guys, I'm not joking you when I say I remember this word for word. Like, what I am telling you is the truth. I look him in the eyes and I say, my mommy says it's just a dream. And he looks at me and says, but it isn't. And I said, but it is. It's just a dream. And he looks at me, you guys, and he says, well, then why can't you wake up? Exactly like that, like in the creepiest face and the creepiest voice, he goes, well, then why can't you wake up? And I said to him, I'm gonna wake up. And he's like, but you can't. And I said, but I'm gonna. And now in the dream, I'm starting to cry. And he's like, but you can't. And all of a sudden I wake up and now I'm in hysterics. I'm screaming, I'm crying. My mom comes in. He said it's not a dream. He said it's not a dream. My mom's like, but baby, look, where are you? You're sleeping. It's a dream. It's all a dream. And so then my mom tries to switch her approach, and she tries to tell me, because I would tell her the details of the dream. She tries to tell me, if he comes to you in unit 13, don't go to unit 13. Force yourself not to get there. So the next night, I wish I was lying about this being night after night too, but I'm definitely not. The next night, I go to sleep and I'm in that little like area again. And I am forcing myself with everything that I have not to go to unit 13. And I'm trying to force myself to wake back up again. And in the distance, I see this man slowly walking towards me. And it's like a horror movie where you want to run, but you can't. And I couldn't even move, you guys. It was like I was paralyzed and I had no choice but to stand there and wait for him to get to me. And he gets to me, and I will never, ever forget what he said. Oh my God, okay. He says to me, you know the wonderful thing about this not being a dream? And I said, what? And he goes, I will always be able to find you. And I woke up again, and to be honest with you guys, like now as an adult, that's the last memory I have of that dream. Like, I don't know if I had it after. All I remember is that the last time that I remember seeing that man was when he told me, I will always be able to find you. I don't really believe that that was just a dream. I mean, to me, it just seems like it's something so much more. Could it have been a nightmare? Sure. Could it have been myself playing with my own head, convincing myself that I was unable to wake up? Of course it could have been. But deep down in my heart, I just have this feeling that it wasn't. And I don't know what to think of it. So every single time you guys comment, like, have you ever had a bad nightmare? Like, what's your scariest nightmare? I think about it. And I always think to myself, I'm gonna share that with them. And what better time to share it than in 31 days of Halloween when you're getting 31 videos? Because normally I try to keep my videos on the longer side, but in 31 days you're getting a video every day. So I can throw in like a little story that I wouldn't normally do a whole video on within these 31 days, if that makes sense. What do you guys think of this? Have you guys ever had a recurring nightmare that you just can't seem to shake? Do you think that my nightmare was just that, a nightmare, or do you think that it was something more? Please leave a comment down below letting me know if you've ever experienced anything like this. Let me know what you think of my experience. Talk amongst each other. Please, please, please be kind to one another when you do that. And I genuinely cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say, because the main reason that I'm sharing it with you is because I'm curious as to what you guys think happened. Well, that is it for today's video. Nightmares can be really scary, especially when you have the inability to wake up from them. And that's the problem that I had with mine, and I think that was what made it all the more terrifying. If you guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos. I am posting for 31 days straight and I really don't want you to miss a video. So please do that and turn on your post notifications so that you don't miss a video, because sometimes YouTube doesn't notify you guys when I upload. And on that note, if you did enjoy today's video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I super from the bottom of my heart appreciate when you guys do that, and it encourages me to keep on making these videos, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you.